Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Now I've done many videos recently about the Sony RX100VII that I have here, and this is my favourite little travel camera. It's absolutely superb. It's well made, metal construction, built-in viewfinder. Just flick up that switch end, you've got a viewfinder, 3-inch articulating screen, all the features that I would want when I'm going out with my brother or just going out for a little wander. I can just shove this in my jacket pocket, and away I go. I don't have to worry about taking a camera bag, but I still get awesome picture quality with this tiny little camera. It is only a 1-inch sensor camera, so you're not going to get your bokeh that you would get with your full frame camera, and I certainly wouldn't get the look that I'm getting on my Panasonic S9 with my close-up camera here, because it's giving me that lovely separation between myself and the background, particularly when I'm shooting the f1.8. I've got the Panasonic S50mm lens fitted to it, and it's shooting the f1.8, so it's giving me that lovely separation. This camera isn't designed for that. This camera is my little travel camera to get lovely pictures, and being able to print them, put them up on social media, whatever I might want to do with them. But today's video is about the sharpness of this lens, because several people have left comments on my YouTube channel, on the videos, saying nice camera but bit pricey, which we do know it is quite pricey for a compact camera. Well, it is pricey for a compact camera, but the 24-200mm lens apparently isn't particularly sharp, and some people seem to say it isn't sharp, but certainly at the 200mm end. Now, I haven't found that myself when using this camera, but I thought I would go into the garden and do some completely scientific tests. Actually, they're completely non-scientific tests. So I want to go through with you a few of the photographs I've taken in the garden, just to show how pleased I am with this camera and how sharp that lens really is. And I do believe, genuinely believe, it's well sharp enough for doing your printing, loading, putting up onto social media, cropping if you need to crop. It's a 20 megapixel 1-inch sensor, so you have got some latitude there for cropping. Although I do try to frame it best I can without having the need to crop. And having the 24-200mm lens means you can zoom in tighter if you can't get closer to the subject, whereby the original ZV1 and the ZV1 Mark II and the RX100 Mark 1, 2, 3 and 4, I think 5 as well, had the 24-70 lens on. This is the ZV1, which has got the 24-70 lens on. Slightly better aperture because this goes down to f1.8, but yeah, not as good as the RX100 Mark VII, because that goes through to 200mm. So it's a 24-70 on this one, but a 24-200 on the RX100 Mark VII. Now these photographs I'm going to be looking at will be up on my Flickr page. I would highly recommend you take a look at them on Flickr. You'll be able to get a good indication how good the quality of these photographs are on Flickr, much better than you would be studying them here on my YouTube channel. So let's have a quick look at some of these. Now let's go through, I'm going to highlight these 4 and compare these 4 simply because I'm going to show the wide angle end, so it says there 9mm. So that's showing the wide angle one on the left, and I'm going to go through the different ranges here on the right. Now that's showing as 17.53mm, so it times up by about 2.5. So that's about, what's that, 17 foot? That's about 50mm, isn't it? And even then, beautifully sharp, no problem with the sharpness on both the wide and around about, give or take, around about 50mm. So lovely, no problem there at all. The wide is nice and sharp, corner to corner, sensor sharpness is great. Obviously the colours are great. Now let's take it in a bit tighter. That's shown as 35mm, so that's about 70, that's about 100mm, so about halfway through its telephoto range now. And you can still see here, absolutely pin sharp, gorgeous, no problem at all. So you can use it up to 100mm and still get lovely sharp images. Now let's take that right through to 72mm 740-21, which is basically the 200mm end. If you times it by 2, around about 2.5, that gives you the 200mm end, and that is lovely and sharp. And it's even giving at 200mm a little bit of bokeh. You can see here the background is out of focus, but the centre beautifully sharp, which is what you would hope for. And it is, it's not soft, it's nice and sharp. So that's one set of images there. Now let's have a look at another set. So let's have a look at these ones here, because shooting into light as well, that's not an ideal situation, and there isn't really much loss, if any, of contrast. Normally the contrast goes completely when you shoot into light with cheaper lenses. The contrast is holding up really well here. So again, we've got here 9mm, so that's looking pretty decent. Again, nice and sharp. Actually, let's have a look at that one. Let's have a look at that one without comparing it. So you can see here at 9mm, which is basically 24mm in full frame terms, that's lovely and sharp. And even though I am shooting into the sun, it's still nice and sharp. There's no loss of contrast, and beautiful detail right into the corners. You see there, corners there are really good, and centre sharpness, absolutely stunning. Really, really, really nice. Now we look at the 27, I think that's 27mm, is it? That's 27mm, so that's about 100mm then. So let's now zoom in on that one. Again, sharp throughout the entire image. Now these photographs were shot just on automatic. I didn't muck around with a lot of the settings, just shot them on automatic and just you know, shot them off in the garden. Took me about 10 minutes to do this. So as I say, completely non-scientific. I haven't used test charts or anything like that, but look really, really good. Really, really nice. And then if we look at the 200mm, 72mm, which is basically 200mm, lovely. Centre sharpness again, absolutely superb. Really, really nice. And there is still, at 200mm, you can still get that separation between the foreground and the background. And you can see even here the foreground is out of focus and the background is out of focus. But it has focused on, you know, what I wanted it to focus on. I did use the touchscreen for focusing, and that is lovely with this camera, and it's got tracking as well, so you can track the subjects that you've touched to focus on. So you can literally just touch the screen and that will set the focus point, and it will stay on that focus point even if you move the camera around. So a very, very useful feature, one that I use constantly, and to cancel it, you just hit the centre button and that cancels the touch to focus. And then what I did, because I was out shooting into light, I just used the little viewfinder that you just pop up with a little flick of a switch on the side there, and then that pops up the viewfinder, and then you've got a quite a bit easier image to look at through the viewfinder. Obviously it's got your PASM dial on the top, and I've set this control wheel here for adjusting the exposure compensation. So you'll see on the back of the screen sort of a wheel comes up showing where I am in the exposure compensation. So as a photographic camera, absolutely beautiful. I love it. But you see here the images are really nice and sharp, and it really did concern me when people were saying they felt that the 200mm end was soft. I don't know if they've ever bought the camera and found it was soft, or whether they were going by what other people were saying. But in my experience, I'm finding it's great and it does what I need it to do. And to have a 200mm lens in your jacket pocket. So much more practical than using a mobile phone. Mobile phones are not great at the telephoto end. I think they're fine at the wide angle end, but they're not great at the telephoto end, where the little RX100VII is amazing at the telephoto end. And even if you're doing it in portrait mode, if we look at, compare these two, that one and that one, and you can see here that's at 9mm, that's at 200mm. So you can see the difference, what you can achieve. You know, that is wide angle, that's well, not extreme telephoto, but not far off extreme telephoto, and they both produce really, really nice images, and again, both nice and sharp. Yeah, it's an amazing little camera. Let's just take a look at one more image. Let's take a look at that one compared to that one. You can see here again, that's for wide angle, that's for telephoto. Look how tight you can get because it's a 200mm lens. You can get really tight into the subject, and particularly useful if you can't get close to the subject. Again, nice and sharp. Clarity is superb. Detail is really good. Contrast is really good. Colors are really good. And it shoots RAW and JPEG, so you have the benefits of the RAW files, which is what I tend to use in Lightroom, but you've got the JPEGs if you want to upload them very quickly to your social media. So yeah, I don't have an issue with the sharpness of a lens with the 24-200. Now, what the RX100VII does lack is an ND filter. For I think it's for 4, 5 and 6. No, not for 6, that doesn't either. But the 4 and 5 do have the ND filter, so that is very handy for certain situations, certainly for video. So there is no ND filter on the RX100VII, probably because of the design of the lens, I would imagine, as to why they haven't put an ND filter on here. The ZV-1 Mark 1 and Mark 2 have ND filters, so that may be an option to look at, but you've only got a 24-70 lens and no viewfinder on the ZV-1 or the ZV-1 Mark II. So yeah, there we go. That's just a very brief look at the RX100VII, and the fact I think the lens is lovely and sharp, and I think it's a great travel camera, one that I can highly recommend. I can't recommend its price as such, and even on the second-hand market it's still quite expensive, but you can justify it if it's going to be the only camera you take out with you, and you want great images. And that's how I justified it, because I did want something really compact, but I still wanted to get some really great images. So there we go. That's the lens on the Sony RX100VII. Remember to take a look at them on my Flickr page. I shall make sure I upload them to Flickr so you can look at them there. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, if you like the content of my videos, and hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and remember to share it with people if you think other people might find this video interesting. There we go. That's it for today. Thanks very much. Cheers for now. Bye.